It seems like new trains in the UK are controversial by design, but none more so than the IET family of intercity high-speed trains. Today I'll be riding on one for the first time, specifically the Class 805 operated by Avanti West Coast. I'll put it to the test on a journey over 3 hours long, from London all the way to Bangor in Wales. Is it any good? Let's find out. As with all Avanti trains, we start at London Euston. I don't think it's the worst of the London terminals, looking at you, Fenchurch Street, but out of the really major ones, it certainly underwhelms. My train was already boarding, so I had to hurry along, but not before grabbing some lunch. Thankfully, I had just enough time. My 15:02 departure to Holyhead was on platform 13, and here it is. The Class 805 Evero began service in June 2024, and is bi-mode to allow operation on the non-electrified lines in Wales. Its predecessor, the Voyager, was diesel only. The 805 is a member of the broader IET family, the new flagship intercity train across Great Britain. You might think they look like bullet trains in Japan, and you'd be correct. While they're not quite as fast as a Shinkansen, they were built by Japanese rolling stock giants Hitachi, and the LNER version is even known as the Azuma, the Japanese word for east. Today, 7 different train companies operate the IET, with Avanti being one of the newer ones. As such, my expectations are high. Did they iron out some of the complaints that GWR riders most notably had? Let's step on board and find out. Quite literally step. Obviously no level boarding. The family that got on the train before me took quite a while to lift the pram onto the train. The first thing I noticed was this rather bizarre area to store bikes, and from what I've seen from other people, it seems universally disliked. The standard class seats here are rather slim, but you come to expect that these days. They're not as firm as they look, and I'm a huge fan of the winged headrest. The color scheme is nice aesthetically, but using a lighter color may prove to be harder to clean though. These trains are still only 2 years old, so the worst is still yet to come. One power outlet is shared for both seats, but there are 2 USB-A ports too. Legroom is solid, and you will also find movable armrests. In front of you is a tray table that can also be extended to accommodate larger laptops, as well as a reading light with 2 brightness levels. Above you are racks for smaller luggage and screens for the reservation system, which stopped working past Chester. There's also a larger screen that cycles through some useful passenger information.
Os gwelwch chi rhywbeth nad yw'n edrych yn iawn, siaradwch am tîm neu anfonwch neges destun at yr heddlu trafnidiaeth Prydeinig ar 6116. Wedi sylwi, wedi sôn, wedi setlo.
Okay, wow, see it say sort in Welsh. It sounds really cool.
Departure from Euston was right on time, a minute early actually. We hurtle up the West Coast Main Line, bypassing Birmingham on our way to Stafford for our first stop. Next up are Crewe and Chester, then we turn to North Wales, stopping at a few different places such as Flint, Colwyn Bay, and Pendolino Junction on our way to Bangor. We took 3 hours and 20 minutes to cover 384 kilometers for an average speed of 115 kilometers per hour. As we head out of London, I managed to catch both of the southern trains that operate the Croydon to Watford service just a few seconds apart. And of course, that is Wembley Stadium. Always a joy to see that arch from a train. Speaking of Wembley, this is Watford Junction where the Lioness line terminates. Probably out of all the overground line names, the one that makes the most sense. And of course, Watford Junction is the edge of Oyster. Leaving Greater London behind, it's time to enjoy some of the scenery on this clear March afternoon. The windows have blinds, but I didn't use them. While we do appear to be traveling quite quickly, we didn't actually hit the top speed of 125 miles per hour or 200 kilometers per hour. We had to settle for 110 or 180, probably because these trains don't tilt like the Pendolino. It's not a huge deal for this journey since it gets slowed down quite a bit once we get to Wales anyway, but it is still worth noting. At Stafford, I had to move to a different car to join up with the rest of my crew who got on the train there. That's also where I tested the wireless charging on the table seats. It was a bit spotty and I would not recommend using it. Free Wi-Fi was available just after I got to answer a couple questions. Well, I could skip them, but I did actually end up skipping them. Sorry, Avanti. Cruise where we come off of electric lines and the pantographs drop. This is Chester, where our train splits into two. The back half terminates here, but the front half continues on to the North Welsh coastline. Chester is also, of course, one of the termini of the Merseyrail network.
Yeah, they're all the old ones are retired now.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. I thought 777's flew.
I've heard some people complain that the lighting on these trains is harsh and unwelcoming, but I kinda liked it, to be honest.
Alright, welcome to Cymru.
Just as we cross the Welsh border, we pass by the Horridon Airport, which is also home to an Airbus factory. Because of that, you can sometimes see the Airbus Beluga here. The North Welsh coastline is not electrified, which explains why this route runs with the bi-mode Class 805 rather than the purely electric 807. The 807 is also 7 cars long compared to the 805's 5. Wait, is that why they're called that, or is it just a happy coincidence? Fortunately, this line is double-tracked most of the way through, and I wouldn't be surprised if the wires come up eventually, with how much investment Welsh Railways seem to be getting now.
Now it's time for a
Toilet.
review.
Okay, this is the Avanti 805 toilet. It is really small, but it gets the job done. There's something really special about this. Very, very basic.
The coastline here is strikingly beautiful, especially as we approach golden hour. And naturally, being in Wales, we stumble across a castle. Before we left, I took a quick glance at the bar. It's not quite an Amtrak cafe car, but it gets the job done. And here we are, pulling into Bangor just 1 minute late. For Avanti, that's considered early. So for my overall thoughts on the 805, I found it to be a mostly comfortable ride. It does get quite bumpy at speed, but other than that, I found it a very serviceable train without necessarily blowing me away. I would gladly take it again. Though hopefully the speed limit can be raised at least in the straightest parts of the West Coast Main Line. I can understand why comfort may be a concern for tighter curves on non-tilting trains, but other than that, it should be fine to go up to 125. But how does this train compare to the Pendolino, a train that many consider to be quite legendary? I do have some brief unreleased footage of a trip I took on that train between London and Manchester, which I'm showing now.
Alright, it's time to get on our way to Manchester, and there it is, the Pendolino. And here she is, my ride up to Manchester today. It's 6:29. So far it's on time, but I've learned not to trust Avanti. Maybe Gil was right, maybe the alphabet does go A, B, C, D, E, F, U.
The seats are identical in standard class, and the ride quality is better, but window alignment can be an issue. I'd also say that the legroom was slightly worse on the Pendolino than the IET, and other than that, there are a couple glaring issues. Every time I've been on one, they've had this smell that I can't quite work out. But it reminds me a lot of the airplane smell, which is not a good thing. Also, there's some very notable mood lighting, harking back to the days of Virgin trains. Needless to say, it's not to everyone's taste.
Here's a Pendolino operated by Avanti West Coast, the Trenitalia and First Group FS Group Company. Please nationalize the rails already.
It's close between the two, but I do think the IET is a marginally better experience, and I would try to get it if you can.